What's up, everybody? As always, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to Contract Fortune because there are going to be a lot of educational opportunities available to you. We're getting ready to start the class back up the last week of June. The first class will be the basics of freight brokering, and it'll go Monday, Wednesday, Friday live from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. And the second class will be the basics of government contracting, same time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 till 10 p.m. Today's video, I want to talk about like sales. Sales is life. Everything in life is sales. Now, before I get too far into it, I definitely am not, I don't talk against myself because I'm pretty good with it. But I know some way better salesmen than myself. There are a lot of the big names that have been famous for sales stuff like, Grant Cardone and Jordan Belfort and people of that nature who, you may recognize the name. But everything in life is sales, okay? Everything. Even the relationship you're in with the girl or guy you're with was a sales deal. You had to make yourself appealing to that person for them to say, okay, I'll give you a shot to be in this relationship or to hang out with you. It sounds transactional. A lot of it is, everything pretty much in life is transactional. Sometimes there are emotions attached to transactional things, which is a part of it too. There shouldn't be, but it is. But with freight brokering, one of the biggest things is sales. You have to have the ability to sell your service. Your service is what is going to make you viable to the industry. Now, when you are offering the service, especially now, okay, the thing that's different now is, we're in the middle of this pandemic, maybe the middle, I don't know, still the beginning probably, of this pandemic. And businesses are going to be extremely tight with the purse strings. And your service, number one, has to be impeccable. You have to have pretty much a track record at this point for some things. But if you're trying to get into the logistics game and you want to do freight brokering, and you don't have any clientele already, a good thing to already have is to have established, relationships with other, vendors and clients potentially, along the way if you were trying to build up, like for instance with a truck driver. I say all the time as a truck driver, when you go to every single location you go to, you should be given a business card out. Even if your business isn't up and running yet, if you know that this is what your business is going to be, this is going to be the name of it, this is what it, what it is, start giving out your card. So that way, when you do start to follow up, you're not starting from ground zero. So those were some of the tips that I gave drivers. But if you are starting from zero, no clients, just the floor. This will be a part of the class as well, the sales part of it, because this is a huge part of getting your business started. But some of the things that you can do and techniques that you can utilize, which worked for me, was jumping in the car and driving to different warehouses. And anywhere that had a loading dock, anywhere that had a loading dock, I would stop, give them a business card, try to talk to somebody for a minute. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to give you but so much time. So you have to have your pitch down when it comes to what you are trying to sell as your service to whatever business you've stopped at. When you speak to somebody, being robotic is not going to, get the sale closed. Now, does it help to be attractive? Of course. You know what I mean? Everything is visual. People are visual creatures. So if you're a beautiful woman, handsome guy, it may be a little bit easier for you to do certain things. But that's not going to get you over always. Every little thing potentially is what your leg up will be when it comes to closing a sale. That was just one. Being able to tell a joke, being able to be extremely knowledgeable of your product, being able to be knowledgeable of your service. When they ask you a question, sometimes they'll test you. They'll throw a question to you to see if you can answer it quickly. If you answer it quickly with the right answer, they'll at least listen to you. So, these are things that are going to get you over. But being quick with the knowledge of the product, like I said, you don't want to be robotic. If somebody says 2 + 2, you say 4, and then there's no passion of it's just you're reciting what you know. The thing that you want to do is be able to relate to people on a level that they can meet you. I don't want to sound, because I know some sharks. I know some real sharks, like some dudes that are just, they're very heartless when it comes to sales. They don't, they to me, salesmanship and doctors mimic each other in this way. A doctor has to be able to deliver some of the most horrible news in a way that you can empathize with the person you're delivering it to, but not become so attached that you can't now do the job that you are required to do. That is the same as a salesman. You have to be able to relate to your client. You have to recognize their pain points. What is the problem? What is causing your business not to succeed? Do I have the ability to solve those pain problems for you, those pain points for you? These are all things that aren't, it's not reinventing the wheel. These are things that most sales guys know. I know a lot of truck drivers may be watching this and be taking some of this in. And you may not be, you signed up to be a truck driver. And the thing that we talked about in the last video was that, there's so many truck drivers who have been laid off because of the pandemic. And rather than, say, okay, well, I'm done with driving. I don't have any way to earn an income. I don't have a way to earn a living. You can remain in the logistics field and make a really good living and still, bide your time. If you really want to get back in the truck, just bide your time. But most likely, if you get into brokering and you like it, you probably won't go back to the truck because it's way, 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 way more money in brokering than it is in freight and driving. Excuse me. But the thing as a driver, right? Like I said, you may have guys that are watching this now who already have done sales, who already know how to talk the talk. You have to be somewhat charismatic. You have to be somewhat warm and receptive to other people. You have to be able to talk to other people and clear and articulate what it is that you're trying to say. That's very important. And you have to do it in a very short time. You have to be prepared to handle a no. No is going to happen. You're going to get a lot of no's. There'll be a lot of no's that you receive. And people will tell you no a lot. They'll tell you no to the point where it will wear on your mental state. Like when I say mental state, I mean, your goal is to get a yes. Your goal is to get somebody to say, you know what, I'm going to take a chance on your product. So when somebody tells you no 101 times, no, you lose the energy. You lose the hunger and the ambition of trying to sell what your service is. So by the time somebody might be ready to give you business on that 100th sale, but because you have lost your ambition and your drive and your hunger, it might not come across the way you need it to. And the next thing you know, that 100th sale that you were getting ready to give, that you were getting ready to get, you lose it because you didn't have the same energy that you had on the first sale. I lost my thought for a minute. I'm sorry. But you have to be prepared to take no. You have to be able to handle a no. That's important. You have to be able to handle somebody hanging up the phone on you. You have to be able to handle somebody as long as they don't touch you. My thing is, don't touch me. I'm sensitive about certain subjects, but most people, business wise, they won't ever know what those subjects are. But, you have to be able to handle all of that. And you got to let it bounce off of you. Absorb it, let it bounce off, and keep moving. And the thing that I did was I established my own brokerage firm. Now, that is a level of the game that is a whole nother level. Establishing your own brokerage firm isn't easy. If you want to, as an owner operator coming out of a truck, I wasn't prepared to say, okay, well, I'm getting ready to go work for this guy, knowing that the guy who owns this company is probably making way more money and just piecing me off a little bit of what, the profits are. So, if I'm going to be a freight broker, I'm going to be an owner operator freight broker. That's not a real title, but that's how I felt. I'm going to be my own independent company for freight brokering. Now, I had clients and I had folks that I was prepared to do business with at the time. But, 5 loads here, 6 loads there, it doesn't make a paycheck. So you have to find clients. The first couple of weeks, once you start getting clientele. Now, it doesn't take a couple of weeks to get clientele. It might take a month, might take a couple of months. If you have clients already ready to do business with you, like, again, that helps. But that first couple of weeks, they're only going to give you a couple pieces of freight because they just want to try out your service to see if you're able to do it. And you got to eat that. Now, each time you talk and each time you deliver, the thing that you'll begin to do is get confidence. As your drivers begin to deliver, as the freight that you have been given begins to deliver, and you're able to make, the hub circle work and get freight from the established point to the destination point, you get a little bit cocky and you get a little bit, you get that, you feel yourself. Once that starts to happen, then you can say, hey, I've been, for the last couple of 3-4 weeks, I've been able to deliver these 5 loads, on time. I want to go ahead, bump me up to about, 10-15 loads, and sooner before you know it, you're doing 30-40 loads a week, and now you're making a paycheck. But keep building your clientele. Now, the thing about freight brokering as well, the thing about logistics as well, is you have to be 24 hours on the phone. You got to have the phone available 24 hours out of the day, because they'll be looking for you. Clients will be looking for you. Clientele will call you all times of the night. Hey, is my freight going to deliver on time? This freight got here late. You have to know where the drivers are. Like, my thing was this, depending on the value of the freight. If the freight was anything over $500,000 to $1 million, I was always calling the driver. You know what I mean? Where are you? Are you good? Not like harassing the driver, but hey, you just wanted to check in, make sure you were straight, you're still good for the delivery tomorrow. We're good to go. But I wouldn't call the driver. I would call the dispatch. We're good to go. Everything's good to go. And dispatchers are prepared for that. They're used to dealing with, a freight broker or a vendor. So I would check in. But even after the dispatch is gone, and the regular company is closed for the end of the day, I still was available on my phone in the event that the driver or the vendor needed to call me. I made the mistake one time, and I put that in a video that I did a while ago. I made the mistake one time of putting the phone down, and I left the driver out there for like 3-4 hours, 5 hours. He was ready to deliver, and I didn't pick up the phone. I was somewhere doing something, something else, and I just didn't answer the phone call because I was like, I'll get to it in a second, and I was wrong for that. These are some of the experiences I'll share in the class. Like, my goal when I teach you this class is to share some of the experiences that I've been through, so that way, when you're building your business, you don't make the same mistakes. You can hear all of the things that I did wrong and, the clients I lost and mistakes that I made, so that you don't make those mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Mistakes happen. It's a part of what this is, but you have to remain cool. They tell you in truck driving school when you first start that you have to keep your emotions in check. You have to be cool at all times, because anything can happen. Anything can happen. It's the same way in brokering. You're dealing with millions of dollars of freight, things that are insured for millions of dollars. You can't freak out. Do your best not to tell what the items are that you're transporting to, the driver's going to know if he he's going to know where he went to go pick up. The dispatch is going to know what's on the bill of lading. The driver's going to know what's on the bill of lading. But the value of a commodity, if you don't know what that commodity is, you still may not know that. And you want to keep that to yourself. That helps to keep your stress down. It helps keeping the anxiety of, oh my goodness, what if something happens to this freight? Like cigarettes. Cigarettes is a big thing. A lot of times back when I was driving, they would steal, full trailers of cigarettes. So they would tell the driver when he left the warehouse, don't stop for the first 200 miles. You can't stop to use the restroom. Can't stop to get nothing to eat, none of that. So these are some of the things you have to keep in mind as a broker. But right now we're talking about sales. Selling to your client, being able to let them know that you're able to handle whatever their commodity is what you need to relay to the potential client that you are, pitching yourself to. They need to know that you're reliable. They need to know that you are a steady hand behind your company, so that they can give you that business and, sell that to you. I'm going to show you sales right now. Now, the class originally that I'm teaching at the end of this month was $1,500. It was $1,500. It was for the basics of government contracting and the basics of freight brokering. But because I recognize that this is a pandemic, I recognize that it's a hard time out here for a lot of people. I recognize that there are a lot of people that are laid off and looking for a way to bring in an income. I brought the class down to $300. You could take both classes for $550. You could take one class for $300. The choice is yours. But you'll have the knowledge. You'll have the knowledge of how to be a freight broker immediately when you leave the course that I'm going to teach you. There is no certificate or degree that you need to have for logistics. What you need is experience, ambition, sales experience, sales ability, and knowing how to government contract. Now, the fourth one isn't for this particular conversation, but that's what you need. So upon completion of what I give you in terms of knowledge, you'll be able to go out there and do all of it. Okay? So go to Contract Fortune. Find out if this is for you. If you think that you have the ability to freight broker, I highly recommend doing it. If you're an owner-operator already and you have your own trucks, it really is the next progression to what it is that you're doing. Because right now there's a broker taking roughly 3 to 5% out of your total settlement right now over whatever load. Out of whatever load you have, there's a broker taking 3 to 5%. 150 up to 3, 5. Well, I try to take between 200 and 5. Very, very rarely did I get 5. I got 200, 250, 300 consistently dollars. $200 to $300 on every truck. I usually ran about maybe 40 or 50 trucks, 40 or 50 loads a week. So, there's the math on that. But your sales ability, your reliability, and your ambition will take you to that next level. There's no reason that you can't broker. None. There's a myth behind freight brokers that there's some, there's a broker somewhere controlling all the buttons and the drivers don't get to talk to the brokers and the brokers are just, these above. You have the ability to be a broker. Being a broker is the next step from being a driver. So I highly recommend that you take the class. There will be dates listed on contractfortune.com so that you can see what dates the classes are. As soon as the flyer comes available, I'll post it on the Contract Fortune Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and what's the other one? What was the other one? Facebook, I think, if I left that out. But I'll post it at all those places so you can see when the class is. And I highly recommend you take it. And we'll touch all these subjects. We'll touch all the subjects that you need so that you can go out there and be successful. Again, don't look at this pandemic as a detriment. It is a detriment and a tragedy from a health perspective. From a health perspective, a lot of people have lost family. A lot of people have lost jobs. And that part of this is the tragic part of it. But as we rebuild, because human beings are resilient people, Americans are resilient people. As we rebuild, evolution in logistics is going to have to take place. Evolution in contracting is going to have to take place. So I want to be at the forefront of helping folks evolve in the logistics space. You can do it. I know you can do it. It took me all of a year and a half to I'll say 2 years to master it, about 6 months to understand it, and about a year to be able to consistently knock it out the park. So you can do it. You can do it too. With that said, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe to Contract Fortune. Be safe out there.